They can get a live weatherman. Why don't you come sit?
Because I got to leave at
okay. All right, Blair. Are you going to be comfortable with that guy right there?
It ain't looking at me.
That's right. We're doing Master Monday live today, folks. Weatherman, have you a seat? All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't know if anybody's joined on here because nobody knew what we were doing today. But everybody out there that wants to get the sales game on, this is their chance to do it. Is Cardone here today? Cardone did show up today. Grant Cardone did show up. So I think every week we're probably getting tired of hearing the same old stuff. So good thing I've got a buddy that was willing to come in here and coach us up today. He's been my coach. Everybody knows who he is, and I don't think you'll feel the same after you listen to what he says versus what I say on a weekly basis. So, with that being said, let's bring up the Super Coach.
Hey, I feel like I'm coming into
Coach
the
Micheal
arena
Burt.
here, right? Good morning.
Morning.
If anybody's got any questions, let me know. Hey, you're on the Facebook Live, Coach.
Great. I love Mondays, don't you?
Absolutely.
New start, new beginning, new week. I did a Facebook Live last night that a lot of people watched, and there's a shift that takes place on Sunday where you're getting your mind ready for the next week, right? It's like a new start, it's like a new beginning. And people ask me all the time how to grow your business. How do I grow my business 40% year over year? Every year. How do you grow your business every year 40%, right? And I say, as people begin to ask me that question, I begin to break it down. I say, well, what do I do every single day? Every day that I work, what do I do? And there's 4 things, okay? I want you to write these down because it's real important. And we're going to get into the objection piece of this equation because objection is part of selling, right or wrong?
Right.
Objection is just a thought or something that impedes you going from point A to point B. And we're going to get in. I actually think you have to clothe yourself for objection. And we're going to get into that. But the first thing I want to tell you is there's 4 things I do every day. Every day I'm pitching my services to new people. Every single day I'm pitching my services to new people. Because it's going to be easy for you to get busy. I call it too busy being fabulous. Too busy servicing current customers. Too busy distracted. Too busy doing this. Every single day I'm pitching my services to what? New people. Okay? Every single day. That's the first thing I'm doing, okay? Number 2, every single day I'm closing people that have indicated interest in my services. Every single day I'm closing. So every day I'm pitching and every day I'm closing. Now this is very, very critical because you've got to really understand the difference between a high value of your time and a low value of your time. Okay? And the high value of your time is specific, intentional, planned activity that is moving you closer to your focus. Okay? My goal is to sell $200,000 worth of coaching every 30 days. Okay? If I hit that every 30 days and I do it 12 straight times, we generated $2.4 million of revenue. Everybody with me here? So there's a high value of my time and there's a low value of my time. A high value of my time is when I'm doing specific, planned, intentional activity that is moving me toward that $200,000. And low value is when I'm goofing off, distracted, involved in low value conversations. Okay, and there's a time and place for that. It's after 5 o'clock when you get done today, or 5:30 or 6 o'clock. You with me? So I listen to people's conversation. And I say, man, this is low value activity. This has got absolutely nothing to do with you moving the ball down the field toward where you should go. Okay, absolutely. So think high value versus low value. Now, when I know you're moving from an amateur sales person to a professional salesperson is when you come into the day with your high value activity already planned. So this is my plan for today. I take it everywhere I go for the people on Facebook Live. They can see this is in my Monster Producer Planner. So what I do every night is I spend about 7 to 15 minutes and I've already mapped out what my high value activity is today. So every day I'm looking at my sales goal. I've actually raised it to $215,000. Then I'll get my daily number today. My team will give me our daily number, right? Then I'm looking at the date. And why am I doing that every morning? I want to know where I am versus where I'm supposed to be and how much I got to push, right? I need so a lot of salespeople ask you, where are you today in relationship to your goal? What do you think they tell me?
I don't know.
Well, that's a good question, Coach. I say, what day is it? Do you know what day it is? Well, is it the 12th? Is it the 14th? Is it the 16th? Why do I need to know that every morning? So I have a physical calendar in my house that I flip over. Actually, my daughter's 4 years old and we flip it over together. And I say, today is this day, and then I calculate how many days I have left in the month to hit that number. See, I've already decided what my high-value activity is. So my high-value activity is right here. I've already decided who my targets are for today. They're right here. I've already decided who I'm closing today. They're right here. I've already decided who my big touches are right here. And I do this every single day that I work. Because every day I'm pitching and every day I'm doing what?
Closing.
Every day I'm pitching. Don't ever forget this. I want to imprint this in your mind. Every day I'm pitching and every day I'm closing. Every day I'm working, I'm pitching, and every day I'm closing. Because what will happen is you'll get busy and you'll go a day and you want to do either one. You won't pitch any new, you won't close anybody new, okay? The third thing I'm doing, which is very critical to your industry, by the way, is that every day I'm onboarding new customers the right way. And let me tell you why this is critical. They tell us that the average real estate transaction should be worth 5.7 referrals over the lifetime of the customer. And there's some debate about, is that true? I would say 3 to 6. But 98% of real estate agents never do what? They never call the customer back once they put them in a home. So if you told me I could get 6 customers by being really, really good every one time, okay, I would follow up with them, which is a big part of this concept, following up, okay? Because we're going to talk about $1 million follow-up today. Follow-up, you got to be, as Mike Hardwick says, persistently consistent. So we got to stay in your face. We got to sell it. We got to resell it. We got to sell it again. Even after you put them in a home, you got to continue to sell them, right? Because how many referrals could you get? Let's say 5.7. That's 6 commissions for you if you do a great job. So every day I'm onboarding customers the right way, which means let's start the process right. Let's love on them. Let's get them set up. Let's let them know what it is we're going to do. Salespeople are notorious for signing people up and then moving on to the next one and forgetting about the last one. There's a lot of deals in the windshield versus, there's a lot of deals in the rearview mirror versus the windshield. Okay? So you got to constantly stay in their mind. So every day I'm pitching, every day I'm closing, every day I'm onboarding new customers, which means sometimes you got to slow down. You got to slow down, right? You got to slow down and onboard them correctly. All right? The fourth thing I'm doing is every day I'm loving on my biggest customers. So I come into the week and I say there's 3 people that have added a lot of value to our life. We call that our top 25. And I've identified 3 of those people I'm going to spend special time with. Okay? So when people add more value to you, you need to add more value back to them. So I've identified 3 people over the last couple of weeks that sent us 3 or 4 referrals. And I feel like they need some special time. They need some special attention. They need to feel important, right? So every day I'm loving on my biggest customers too. So now let's look at the activity I've created. Every day I'm pitching my services to new people. Okay? Every day I'm closing people in the pipeline. Every day I'm onboarding new customers. And every day I'm loving on my biggest customers. Everybody see that? Okay? And I'm doing that every single day. Now, the difference between high value and low value is what? High value moves you closer to your goal. Low value. So today when you catch yourself in low value conversation, imagine me just shocking you with a cattle prod or something, right? Imagine me just every time you get involved in some low value conversation, it's got nothing to do with moving you closer to your goal. I want you to just remember me telling you that. This is not a conversation you need to be having right now. Okay? Every day you need to be pitching. Every day you need to be closing. If I can get you to where you're planning your days, how many of you are mapping your days out yet? Okay, good. If you're not mapping your days out with your targets, then you came into Monday and you're already behind, in my opinion. Okay? Because on the way over here, I was calling prospects. I could have listened to the radio, could have listened to YouTube videos, I could have listened to the podcast, could have goofed off, could have called my wife. There's all kinds of things I could have done, but what was I doing, Weatherman? I was calling prospects. You follow me? So I've trained my brain to say every day I got to do high value activity, and that's how we hit our goal. Every day I got to go, okay? Now, the second step of that's what we're going to focus our time on today. $1 million follow-up. That's what Tommy wanted me to talk about. I wrote a little book, this little book called $1 Million Follow-Up. And it's about 6,000 words. And I wrote it because I began to notice by coaching hundreds of salespeople how bad they were with following up. Would you agree with that? If I brought in a big old trash bag of cash, and I just dumped it out right in front of your face, and I said, this is how much money you're losing when you do a poor job of following up, would they get your attention? So why are people so poor at follow-up? How many times should we follow up? Every stat in the world says 7 to 15 touches, 80% of the time to convert a prospect to a buyer. Right? Most salespeople go 1 or 2. Real estate agents are some of the worst. They go 1 or 2. If we don't get a deal on 1 or 2, they just give up. Okay, you got to understand something. It's not because I don't want that house. Right now, there's 258 million people online. Half of those people, 125 million, are looking at real estate. You with me? I coach for a living, but there's not a week that goes by that I'm not looking at a real estate transaction. So when I go online and I'm looking, it's no different than me going on the car dealership over here. Within 72 hours, I go look at a car dealership, or go on a car dealership, you know what people do? They buy a car. They buy a car. So when I go looking online for a real estate deal, I'm on the car lot, right or wrong. Now, I may be busy. I might have my attention diverted. There could be multiple things going on, and that's called the current of the urgent. So what happens is I'm attracted to something. I indicate interest that I'm attracted to it. Okay? Either somebody gets back to me or they don't. But then I go back to my life. And when I go back to my life, I get busy and I get distracted. And if you don't keep coming back to me and following up with me, I move on to something else. Somebody else replaces that. You follow me here? So when you study attraction, could you be attracted to something momentarily and then lose that attraction? Yes or no? Yeah. That's why it's so important to get a person in a house. Because when they can see it, feel it, touch it, taste it, and get an idea about it, it's very, very powerful. But here's the deal. When they walk out of that house and they move on about their life, that chemistry goes away. And it's your job to keep bringing them back to that initial moment. So the follow-up, the purpose of the follow-up is a couple things. Number one is to rekindle the initial attraction. Everybody follow me here? It's to rekindle the initial attraction to something. So I take a person right back to the very moment that they were interested. Okay? So I may say, John, do you remember when you called me and said that, you wanted to go do this? Because that was the initial attraction. You follow me? Now, you told me what you wanted, and I brought it to you on a silver platter. What's stopping you from taking action? Okay, so the purpose of the follow-up is to rekindle the initial attraction. It is also to articulate how you can solve their problem better than anybody else. Because here's my basic theory of selling. Money only changes hands when problems are solved. Right? Money only changes hands when problems are solved. So when I'm following up with you, what I'm really doing is articulating how I can solve your problem better than anybody else. Now, you say, well, what kind of problem am I solving as a real estate agent? Well, one time I lived in Colony House Apartments. Anybody know what Colony House Apartments is? And not a very high-end apartment complex here in Murfreesboro. And as I began to grow up in life, get out of the partying stage and get into the professional stage, the people around me were still in the partying stage, so now I got a problem. And I said, it's time for me to grow up and go on my first home, right? And I went looking for a little duplex. And I bought a little $119,000 duplex over here, and I loved it. But what was my real problem? My problem was I was growing up, and it's time for me to get my first house. Now, somebody's going to solve that problem. You follow me? Now, at that particular time, I didn't really know a bunch of real estate agents. Nobody really courted me to get my business. I just used a referral from somebody. Somebody pushed me toward a person, and I used them. Because I was young and naive. 67% of people use the very first person that contacts them in real estate. Did you know that? They don't use the best one, the most experienced one, the best looking one. Most people use which one? The first one. But here's the theory. The more sophisticated the buyer, and the more sophisticated typically means the more money they have, that stat's going to go away. Because then they're going to start saying what? They don't use the first one. They start asking, who's the best one? Who can negotiate better? Who can market better? Who can help me better? Well, I did what everybody else did. I just used the first one. You follow me? Then I started saying, you know what? I love this little place, but I'd like to have something a little bit bigger, because then I was making a little bit of money. I found a good deal during the recession. Now I got another problem. I want a bigger house, right? Somebody's going to solve that problem for me. Everybody follow me here? Now, your marketing tells me that you should solve it. You stand in my face, so then I say, I got a problem. Who can help me solve this problem here? Who can represent this, okay? So when you think about money changing hand when problems are solved, when I'm following up with you, what am I really trying to articulate? Dibble, what am I saying? I can solve this problem, Dibble, better than anybody else can. I can negotiate more money for you. I can market it better. I got deeper networks. I can sell it faster. You follow me? You got a problem, right? And then I built a custom house. And then I got married and had a daughter. And then my wife said, you know what, this is a great house, but you didn't really build it for a family. Now I got another problem. You see what I'm saying? Somebody's going to solve that problem for me. And the person that solved that problem was Tommy. He sold my house. We got a new house. Now everybody's happy. Does everybody make sense? Now, how many times have I already done this and I'm 40 years old? I've already done this at least 4 times. Average person buys 4 to 7 houses in their lifetime. Remember that stat of 98% of people never falling up with a customer, right? If you just had me from the beginning, you already got 4. And the more successful we become, the bigger the houses have gotten, right? So you're solving bigger problems and you're making bigger commissions. But what if you never follow up with me? And this is a big problem here. So the purpose of the follow-up is to rekindle the initial attraction. Is to articulate how you can solve a problem better than anybody else. Yes?
Have you ever given Tommy a referral?
Yes, I have.
So, probably several.
Absolutely. Now, and not only just a referral, in today's digital age, how many people have I promoted him to on social media? I mean, last night I was talking about him and there were 600 people on there live watching the thing.
So if one of us could have been lucky enough to solve your problem on the get-go, other than Tommy, that could have been...
It could have been all...
big. Well, with you, man, it could be 100 deals over a lifetime.
Right.
You know?
That's right. Because some people just have bigger megaphones than other people. Does that make sense? So for you, you got to start thinking like this. Selling becomes easier to me, Brent, when I know all I got to do is go out and solve somebody's problem. And there's so many problems. I mean, there's 1.9 million people in Middle Tennessee. There's 169,000 people right here in Rutherford County. There's a lot of problems, right? People moving up, people moving down, people getting divorced, people having kids, people can't afford this, people want this. There's a lot of problems to solve.
But you bring up a good point about the problem. You're pretty good. Somebody like you is going to be able to articulate their problem.
That's right.
But you know, you're not the average bear. Okay. We've got to understand what the problem is, and sometimes even the buyers really can't articulate it. That's why we have to keep probing. They know there's discomfort, but they know they need to move, but they can't really say, "Hey, look, I need to move because this," or they're going to hold that information back.
That's right.
So it's kind of like what you said when you say rekindle the initial interest, and then you said, "Hey, what's stopping you from taking that action?" Now maybe we don't say it that bluntly, but that's what we got to figure out. Hey, you were in here a few months ago looking around. What's going on in your life?
That's right.
You know what? Tell me what you're looking for, and then tell me about that.
That's right.
You know, what does that look like to you? You know, right?
That's right.
You got to find the problem.
Because here's the deal: are you an expert or not?
Yes.
Do you see yourself an expert? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why did I come to you to begin with? See, I tell people you came to me for a reason. You believe I can help solve your problem, and sometimes I tell people what their problems are. I say, Tommy, you really got 3 missing structures. I use the word missing structure versus problem. I say, Jamie, you really got 3 missing structures that you hadn't thought about, right? If I could solve those for you, would it be valuable for you to take action? Now, the higher the expert factor, the more bold you are with pushing a person to a buying decision. The less your expert factor. See, I don't want the consumer to control this. Jobs always said this: the customer never knows what they want till you tell them. So I made up my mind that instead of just being a relationship builder, I'm going to be a challenger. And that's really what this book is about. It's about not only following up 7 times, because most agents are just not following up 7 times, right or wrong.
Sure, right.
But it's about how they follow up. Okay? So let me tell you how not to follow up. Okay? 1, never say this: I was just thinking about you. Okay? Never follow up with a person and say, I was just thinking about you. What does that do for me? See, when you follow up with me, here's what you want to do. You want to make me stop what I'm doing and think. Man, he is right. I do need to take action. I was interested in that. So when you say, hey, I was just thinking about you, right? Then that really doesn't get me to move. That really doesn't get me to take action. If you say, do you have any questions? Does that get me to take any action? See, these are questions that I can say yes or no to. No, don't have any questions. Right? Well, I heard somebody once call me on this and say, man, I've been thinking about you all night long. I woke up thinking about you. And I said, that's creepy, man. That's creepy, right? But, you know, and yesterday we were studying in the Bible where Paul is writing the letters to Timothy. And he's basically writing him a letter about multiplication. And he said, man, I've been thinking about you. Right? I've been thinking about you. I've been up thinking about you all night. But there's specific things I've been thinking about. He didn't just say, I've been thinking about you. What did he do, Weatherman? He said, here's what you need to do. So when you follow up, I want you to think like Paul was. He was telling, not only have I been thinking about you, there's 2 actions you need to take. He even used the word fan the flame. Move, take action. Don't just sit. I'm not just thinking anything. I'm thinking specifically about you. So never follow up and say, so I was thinking about you. Do you have any questions? I had a real estate agent once call me and say, I'm just doing my due diligence. You know, this was 4 days after we looked at a $950,000 property. Never say that. I felt like I was a burden, right? Oh, you're doing your due diligence. No, I'm the one doing my due diligence, right? But he said, I'm just doing my due diligence. What about this? You were on my list of people to call today. See, all of these are how people follow up in the South, right or wrong?
I was just following up.
Yeah, I was just following up.
Give me a break.
See, so when you follow up with a person, follow up to make them think. Follow up to challenge them just a little bit. So I create a little bit of healthy tension between me and them. And I may say, you told me exactly what you wanted, Jim, and I brought it to you. Now, what is stopping you from taking action? Every day we don't take action, Brent, we're losing momentum. I think we're losing 10 or 20% of momentum every day we don't act, right? If you're not ready to take action, can you tell me why you're not ready to take action? Sometimes I use my explanation of service back against them. I say, you and I believe the same things. I've showed you what it is we do. I've showed you how we do it different. I've showed you all the people we've done it for. What is stopping you from moving forward on this, right? You know, a common when you hear real estate agents say today is if you got to sleep on it, you're probably not going to sleep in it, right? Because of things that are happening. And so there's ways to create these triggers in a person. But you won't do this if you're an expert. If you're a real relationship builder, and I don't mean that in a bad way, you're going to supplicate. So when you call a person back, you're going to say, I know you're real busy. Can I just get a minute of your time? Call me back when it's convenient with you. You got to start following up like an expert follows up. Hey, there's 2 specific things I got to tell you. It's real important. I need you to call me back by noon today. You see what I'm saying? Hey, I think we're losing momentum here. I need you to take action. Now, I'm going to come back at you 7 times. Now, why would I go 7 touches?
That's the minimum.
That's, hey, 80%. Every stat in America tells me it takes 7 touches to get a prospect off the fence. So I'm going to come back 7 times. Most real estate agents go 1 or 2. If they don't get a deal, they move on. If I think you're worth it, if I'm going to truly pursue you, and I made up my mind in the first 15 seconds, by the way, if I'm going to truly pursue you or not, I'm going 7 touches. But how I follow up with you is going to push you. I'm going to challenge you just a little bit, okay? And I want you to get off the phone with me and go, dang, man, he is exactly right. I do need to take action. I do need to move. He is right. I do want that property. But see, a lot of people don't do that. So when you come into these people 7 touches, now when I get to touch number 7, let me tell you what I say. I say, Jamie, have you noticed how hard I've worked to earn your business? Has anybody else worked this hard? And in your world, you know what they're going to say? No. Very few people even followed up with me one time. What is stopping us from doing business with each other? What is stopping you from taking action? We believe the same things. I showed you what I do. I showed you how I do it different than everybody else. What is stopping you from moving forward? You showed me what you wanted and I brought it to you. Now, let's look at the law of 80%. I really believe in real estate that very few people get 100% of what they want. I even look at my new house. I can't tell you how much I love our new house. It's private. There's nobody there. It's gated. You can't get in. We go out in the street and play. I can hear the crickets. I back up to a creek. I love it, right? But it's still not 100% if I was designing a house or what I want, but it's 80%. So when a person tells me it's not exactly 100% of what I want, you know what I say? Here's what I say. 80%. If we could get you to 80% of what you want in life, I can't imagine how happy you would be. See, we got to get out of this myth that we're going to get exactly everything we want in life. Does that make sense? This house has 80% of what you want in it.
Larry Kendall calls it 85%.
85%, all right? So here, that's my point. This new house I got has 80% of what I want. Maybe it don't have everything, but it had 80%. And you know how happy I am with that? So for you, when it comes to objection, let's talk about some of the objection you get. Because when you follow up, you're going to get objection. I hear it every day. How many of you hear the same objection over and over? Yeah. Got to talk to my wife. Got to talk to my husband. Got to think about it. Got to pray about it. You know, call me back 6 months from now. When you hear those objections, the relationship builder supplicates. What does that mean?
Gives in.
Gives in. So Tommy gives me an objection and I retreat. An expert would never retreat like that. Never. Who's the expert? Him or me? I am. You are. So when he gives me objection, let me talk to my wife, let me think about it. I'm going to go right back at him. What specifically do you need to think about? Do you need me to talk to her? Why don't we both get together? So you're telling me, I know you've been teaching this, so you're telling me if you talk to your wife and she's good with it, you're ready to get started. See, a real professional is going to challenge him. And so I may say to him, Tommy, we can have this conversation today or we can have it 6 months from now. But you ain't going to be any better off 6 months from now than you are right now. Right? You told me what you wanted and I brought it to you. Okay? The reason you're paying me is not to hear always what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. You see how I'm pushing him a little bit? Now, if I lose him, what did that really tell me?
You never have.
You can't lose something you don't have. So when I push him, I'm pushing him because I'm an expert. The reason people will give you that permission to push them is because they see you as an expert. If I go to John Jones and I say, John, I'm looking at doing a real estate deal, I'm not going. If he says, look, you don't need to do this deal, there's 3 reasons why, but there's a better deal over here, he's an expert. I'm going to listen to him, right? But what if he lets me control that scenario? You see what I'm saying? I never let the consumer control it. I'm an expert. The reason you came to me is because you told me you wanted this, this, and this. Okay, there's actually 2 other things you don't even know about, okay, that I see that help you with your business. So the objection, you know, in the Bible it talks about clothing yourself, putting the armor of God on. I actually think you have to clothe yourself for objection. What does that mean? When you woke up this morning and you got dressed, I tell people I go from just being Micheal Burt, a husband and father, to Super Coach. And when I put my clothes on, now I'm clothed. Where are we going to hear objection from?
Everybody.
Everybody. I hear it from my 4-year-old daughter. I may hear it from a team. I may hear it from consumers. I hear it from people I'm coaching. So I've already made up my mind that when I hear objection from you, I'm going to come right back at you. You follow me? Now, if I'm not confident, can I do that? Yes or no? Okay? So think about what we were taught in the South, because now that I travel all over the country, I go to Minnesota once a month, I go to New Jersey once a month, and they are a lot bolder than we are. A lot bolder, especially in Jersey. And so they will sit down and say, I believe by the end of this meeting, you and I are going to be doing business with each other. I mean, that's very bold. In the South, we're taught, be relationship builders. Let you control the scenario. Don't do anything to ruffle your feathers. You can actually be a relationship builder and a challenger at the same time. Actually, some of the best relationship builders in the world are challengers. Right? I was thinking about yesterday watching those Lady Warriors win a 6 championship, and I remember calling Tom Nolan and the principal at Riverdale and saying, man, you got to interview this guy, Randy Kaufman from West Tennessee. Okay? I'm telling you, this guy can come in and win multiple. He's had 23 20-win seasons. He's just not in a place he can win it. You give him the players and put him in a place, and I'm telling you, he will continue to win. And Tom kind of pushed back on me. He's like, well, I interviewed him, he was okay. And I'm like, no, listen to me. I'm telling you, right? I'm pushing you. Interview this guy. This is your guy. This is who you need to hire. And he finally hires him, and the guy's going on to win, the 2 back-to-back national championships. And he'll just keep winning them. But what if I just said, okay, Tom, interview who you want to? See, I pushed him. And I said, I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about here. So the $1 million follow-up is, A, you got to go 7 touches. You got to follow up in a way that gets a person to move. You got to quit supplicating to the consumer. You got to know you're an expert. And when people give you fluff excuses, man, what kind of excuses do you hear today? Objections do you hear?
I'm just looking.
I'm just looking. Okay? Now, what do you say to that?
No, I love to look too when you want me out there.
That's right. Because what do we know? Here's what I know looking turns out to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I took my wife a couple years ago to get a BMW, and she wanted a white BMW, and I went down there, and I was going to get an SUV, and she's going to get a car. One car. And I'm walking through the showroom, and I see this beautiful black M-Series. And the guy was a great salesperson. And he said, Coach, let's just get in that and drive it. I said, man, we're not putting together a 2-car deal. I guarantee it. I coach salespeople for a living. There is no way in the world you're going to sell me 2 cars today. Right? He said, look, we'll move it out of the showroom. Just drive it, man. This thing's got some serious power to it, right? And I drive it, and I said, you can't put together a deal sweet enough for me to take 2 cars out here today. Ain't no way. So let's just drive it for fun, and let's go. Right? He said, okay. So he goes back, he puts the numbers together, and we walked out of there with 2 BMWs. You understand what I'm saying here? Because he just kept going. Get in it. Let's take a picture of you in it, Coach, and put it out on Facebook, see if people like it. Why don't you drive it, Coach? Does that make sense? And even though I went to buy an SUV, I ended up with a car, additional car that I didn't go to buy. Does that make sense?
But a lot of salespeople would have stopped.
Oh.
They go, okay, I don't want to push you.
Most salespeople would have stopped.
I don't want to push you. I don't want to ruin the one deal.
That's right. He's like, we're here, test driving. Same thing on houses, guys. When a person tells you they can go to $350 or $400 or $500 on their payment, what does that really mean? See, when a person tells me they can't afford $400 for coaching, I say, you're telling me we couldn't look at your budget and find $400 you're spending in an area that's costing you money every month? We couldn't put it into an asset that would make you money? I said, do you understand the difference between assets and liabilities? Liabilities suck money out of your pocket. Assets add. I guarantee you we could find $400 a month that could go into coaching that would make you a lot more money, because you're spending it somewhere. You're spending it at Longhorn. You're spending it somewhere that ain't making you any money at all, right or wrong. I just don't let them say, well, I don't have $399, because I'm that convicted on how much we can help them. Okay? So what questions do you have about the follow-up? I know we got just a few minutes, right? What questions do you have about following up? How many people are too soft right now on the follow-up? How many people are not going enough touches? Yeah, you're not even in the race, man. Now, when did I make up my mind I was going to pursue you, Jamie? Because this is critical. I tell people, would you rather know in the first 15 seconds or chase somebody for 15 months? See, I make up my mind quick about you. And I typically do it by sharing with you what I believe. So I say, Jamie, here's what I believe. I believe people that have a coach make 4 times the amount of money than people that don't. And I look at your response. And if you are buying in, and I make up my mind, this is a person I'd like to pursue. What if we don't believe the same things, and I think he's going to waste my time? At that moment, I just cut and move on. 7 billion people on the planet. So I'm not going to chase him, right? But I make up my mind quick. So I make up my mind by sharing with you what I believe. I believe every person deserves the right to have a professional represent them on their real estate transaction. Right? Yes?
Where can people buy your new book, and what if people want to enroll on your Total Growth Academy?
All right, so there's 2 things. A, we got this little book, $1 Million Follow-Up. But here's the new book that I've been out promoting. It's coming out in, I'm thinking, 8 or 9 days on Amazon. You can go to Amazon and buy it, okay? And this one's got all my best stuff in it, because this is, 25 years of coaching that I distilled down to one book, right? And this book can become your coach. The Total Growth Academy is my online academy. Now, at first, I started thinking about online academies, and here's what I know. The people that need coaching every day, that will log in and get coached every day. Imagine having a coach anytime that you need it. Okay? And I want you to start replacing the music you're listening to with listening to something that can put money in your pocket. You follow me? And so what I did is I took all my coaching, I put it online so we could sell to anybody on the planet, right? And the people that log in every single week, we have mortgage companies where the entire mortgage company's on it. I mean, I'm talking about 130 people, and they log in the morning and they watch. What's in there is $1 Million Follow-Up, my selling systems, Cheetah School of Selling. And so the online academy is a chance for you to get coaching at a lower price point than the in-person coaching, because it starts at $99 bucks a month. It's called Total Growth. Now, what good is it to have skill with no motivation? Because the first question I'm going to ask John and Tommy is, hey, are these people working hard enough? Are they in the office every week? Are they prospecting every day? Are they pitching their services every day? Are they out there lollygagging and goofing off? What good is it to have skill with no effort? What good is it to have effort with no skill? See, this mastering objections is a skill, isn't it? It's a skill. The greatest real estate agents can overcome objection. I'm telling you guys. They're professionals. It's a skill that you learn, okay? And when you really heighten it, you start to realize how many objections you get in a day. You start to figure out, man, I get objection starting in the morning, right? So I got to get myself ready to handle that objection. What good is it to have knowledge and skill with no confidence? Right? Isn't that what you're selling a lot of times? Confidence. Energy. What you're saying is in 6 months from now, you're going to be in a much better place through a relationship with me, because I have become world class at solving your problems when it comes to real estate. And there's a confidence that comes with that, right? There's a confidence that comes with that. Just know there's 2,000 agents, Sean, in this market. 2,000. Okay, it's probably 3 or 4 people do what I do in this market. There's 2,000 of you. So I saw a stat the other day that 22% of NFL games are won by 3 points or less. 45% of NFL games are won by 7 points or less. You know what that's saying? Look at the competitiveness. Look at the equality of the players.
Playing field's pretty equal.
It's equal. So when 45% of the games are won by less than 7 points, How do you win? Where do you get an advantage at? You get an advantage just in one little bitty place, not that big. I can negotiate better than anybody else. I know the properties better than anybody else. I got a deeper network than everybody else. I can market your property better than anybody else. See, we got to have some kind of advantage. I worked with an agent in Nashville once, and here was her proposition. I can get more money per square foot than any agent in Nashville on new home construction. Right? And if she could prove that, how valuable would that be? You know what she did? She had very elaborate open houses, have 200 or 300 people at them. She got more eyeballs on those properties, so she was able to sell those properties at a higher price point. So everybody wanted her to represent those new home constructions because that was her skill set. See how clear that value proposition is? When you get it down that clear, and I'll end on this one. When I was reading Phil Jackson's 11 Rings, I'm always trying to figure out what makes Phil Jackson so good. You know, how did he take the Bulls and win 6 championships and then turn around and go to the Lakers and win 5 more championships? What was different than him?
MJ and Kobe.
Yeah, besides MJ and Kobe.
And Marie.
Yeah, okay, yeah, and Marie Lanning. Here's the difference. In the 3rd chapter of that book, he tells you, what I really do better than anybody else in the world is I transform disorganized teams into champions. See, the Bulls were a disorganized team before he got there. The Lakers were a disorganized team before he got there. Now, let me ask you this question. How many disorganized teams are there in the world, in the NBA? And so here's what he said. There's nobody who can do this better than me. I've done it 11 times. And for me to do it for your team, it'll be $12 million. He could have coached any NBA team he wanted to. Because look at his proof of concept. Look at what his value proposition is. So you got to get yours down to that. This is what I do. Okay, hopefully better than anybody in Rutherford County. And eventually anybody in the world. And that's when people start coming to you because you are known or famous for something. Okay? Thank you guys for having me today.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, I appreciate it.